The Legend of King Arthur, a tale of kings, knights, and eternal glory. In a time long ago, when the mist-shrouded hills of Britain echoed with the clash of swords and the prayers of monks, when ancient forests whispered secrets of magic and mystery, there arose a legend that would captivate the hearts of generations to come. The legend of King Arthur, the once and future king. This is a tale of valor and betrayal, of love and loss, and of a king whose destiny was entwined with the very soul of a nation. The birth of a king, a prophecy fulfilled. Our story begins in a time of darkness and uncertainty, in the kingdom of Britain, a land torn by war and strife. The great King Uther Pendragon, a warrior of fierce determination, ruled over the realm. Yet, despite his might and his courage, Uther was tormented by a single desire, the love of Lady Igraine, the wife of Gorlois, Duke of Cornwall. Consumed by his passion, Uther sought the counsel of Merlin, the mysterious and wise wizard who dwelled in the shadows of court. Merlin, whose knowledge spanned the ages, saw the future in the stars, and he agreed to help Uther under one condition, that any child born of this union would be given to him, to raise as he saw fit. Desperate, Uther agreed, and through Merlin's magic, he was transformed to look like Gorlois, entering Tintagel Castle and lying with Igraine. That very night, Gorlois fell in battle, and Uther claimed Igraine as his queen. 9 months later, a child was born, Arthur, a boy of noble blood but of uncertain fate. True to his word, Merlin came and took the infant, placing him under the care of Sir Ector, a loyal knight who raised Arthur as his own son, alongside his own child, Sir Kay. Arthur grew up as a squire, unaware of his royal lineage, his destiny hidden like a sword within a scabbard. The sword in the stone, the making of a king. The kingdom was left without a king after Uther's death, and a great unrest spread across the land. Lords and nobles vied for power, and Britain teetered on the brink of chaos. In those troubled times, Merlin set into motion a plan to reveal the rightful king. He summoned the barons and knights of the realm to London for a great tournament, promising that there would come a sign from heaven to reveal the true king. In the churchyard, beside the cathedral, there appeared an anvil upon a stone, and embedded in the anvil was a sword. Upon the sword, these words were engraved: "Whoso pulleth out this sword from this stone and anvil is rightwise king born of all England." Many tried to pull the sword from the stone, from mighty lords to the most celebrated knights, but none could move it even an inch. Days passed, and hope dwindled, until the day of the tournament arrived. Arthur, still a boy, had accompanied his foster father, Sir Ector, and his foster brother, Sir Kay. When Kay's sword was lost, Arthur, eager to help, went searching for a replacement. He saw the sword in the stone and, not knowing its significance, grasped it by the hilt. With a single pull, the sword slid free, as if it were drawn from water. Sir Ector and Sir Kay, astonished, realized what had happened and brought Arthur before the assembled lords. Doubt filled their hearts, for how could a mere boy, a squire of unknown lineage, be their king? Yet, when Arthur replaced the sword and drew it again, the truth became undeniable. Merlin stepped forth and proclaimed Arthur the son of Uther Pendragon, the true-born king of Britain. Though some opposed him, many swore fealty, and so Arthur took the crown, the sword in his hand gleaming with the promise of a new age. The rise of Camelot, the fellowship of the Round Table. With Merlin by his side, Arthur set about uniting the fractured kingdom. He proved himself a just and noble king, wise beyond his years and strong in battle. Yet, he knew that he could not rule alone. He needed knights, men of valor and honor, who would stand by him in the service of justice. To this end, Arthur established the Round Table, a symbol of equality and unity. The table was a gift from his father-in-law, King Leodegrance of Camelot, when Arthur married his daughter, Guinevere, a woman of great beauty and even greater grace. At the Round Table, no knight sat at the head, for all were equal in the eyes of the king. It was here that the greatest heroes of the age gathered: Sir Lancelot, the bravest and most skilled of warriors; Sir Gawain, noble and fierce; Sir Percival, pure of heart; and Sir Galahad, the perfect knight, born of Sir Lancelot and Elaine, the Grail Maiden. Under Arthur's rule, Camelot became a beacon of hope and prosperity. The Knights of the Round Table swore oaths to defend the weak, uphold justice, and seek out and destroy evil wherever it might hide. Tales of their deeds spread across the land, from slaying dragons to rescuing damsels in distress, from duels of honor to quests for sacred relics. The fame of Arthur and his knights grew, and with it, the dream of a united, noble Britain. The sword Excalibur and the Lady of the Lake. As Arthur's reign flourished, Merlin, the ever-watchful guide, saw that his king would need a sword greater than any other, a weapon forged not by men, but by magic. And so, Merlin led Arthur to a shimmering lake, where the arm of a lady, draped in white silk, rose from the waters, holding aloft a magnificent sword. This was Excalibur, the Sword of Kings, blessed by the Lady of the Lake, Nimue. The Lady of the Lake emerged, her ethereal form gliding across the surface. She spoke to Arthur, her voice like the tinkling of silver bells. "Take this sword, O king, for with it you shall triumph in battle, and your enemies shall fall before you." But remember, Excalibur is not merely a sword of war, but a symbol of peace. Wield it with honor and justice, and your kingdom shall prosper. Arthur accepted the sword, feeling its balance and weight, and he knew it was a weapon unlike any other. As he took Excalibur, Merlin whispered to him of its scabbard, which held a power even greater than the blade itself, the power to protect its bearer from all wounds, ensuring that he could fight on, no matter the odds. With Excalibur in hand, Arthur's victories became legend. He defeated countless enemies, from the rebellious kings who sought to defy his rule to the marauding Saxons who threatened his land. Yet, for all his might, Arthur never forgot the lessons of the Lady of the Lake. He wielded his sword with justice and mercy, and Camelot's light grew ever brighter. The love of Lancelot and Guinevere, the betrayal of Camelot. But even in the golden age of Camelot, shadows began to form. Among all the knights, none were more beloved than Sir Lancelot, who was as close to Arthur as a brother. Yet, Lancelot harbored a secret that would shake the very foundations of the realm, a forbidden love for Queen Guinevere. Guinevere also felt a deep affection for Lancelot. Their love was pure yet doomed from the start, for it was a betrayal of the trust that bound them to Arthur. For a time, they kept their love hidden, fearing the wrath of the king and the dishonor it would bring upon them. But secrets, like water held in the hands, cannot be contained forever. Mordred, Arthur's illegitimate son, born of an ill-fated union with his half-sister Morgause, watched with a jealous and cunning eye. Mordred, who sought power and harbored resentment against his father, saw in this forbidden love an opportunity to fracture the unity of Camelot. He exposed the affair to Arthur, casting a shadow over the Round Table. Arthur, torn between his love for Guinevere and his duty as king, was devastated. As law demanded, Guinevere was to be tried for treason, and Lancelot, too, would face punishment. But Lancelot, loyal to the end, rescued Guinevere from her fate and fled with her to his castle in France, where they prepared for Arthur's inevitable pursuit. Arthur, despite his heartbreak, chose to uphold the law and led his knights across the sea to confront Lancelot. This tragic division weakened Camelot, and in the king's absence, Mordred seized the throne, declaring himself king. Betrayal upon betrayal, the dream of Camelot began to crumble. The quest for the Holy Grail, a vision of purity. In the midst of these darkening times, the Knights of the Round Table embarked on their greatest quest, the search for the Holy Grail, the cup that Jesus Christ had used at the Last Supper, believed to have the power to heal all wounds and grant eternal life. The quest for the Grail was a quest for purity, for redemption, for a divine connection that might save Camelot from its doom. Many knights set out, but only a few were destined to find the Grail. Sir Galahad, the purest of all knights, led the way. Guided by visions and aided by divine grace, Galahad, along with Sir Percival and Sir Bors, overcame trials of spirit and flesh, tests of faith and courage. They reached the Grail Castle, and there, Galahad beheld the holy relic, his pure heart illuminated by its light. In that moment, his soul was taken to heaven, for he had achieved the perfect knight's reward. But the quest, though glorious, came at great cost. Many knights perished, others returned broken, and the unity of the Round Table was shattered, unable to withstand the weight of human frailty and divine pursuit. The final battle, the death of King Arthur. Upon returning from France, Arthur found his kingdom in turmoil, his throne usurped by his own son. In the great battle of Camlann, father and son met on the field of destiny. The armies clashed with ferocity, the earth trembled, and the skies wept with rain. Arthur, wielding Excalibur, fought with the strength of 10 men, but Mordred, filled with hate and ambition, met him blow for blow. At last, Arthur struck Mordred down with a mighty thrust, but Mordred, with his dying breath, dealt a fatal wound to the king. Gravely injured, Arthur knew his time had come. He ordered Sir Bedivere, the last of his knights, to return Excalibur to the Lady of the Lake. Twice Bedivere faltered, hiding the sword, unable to part with the symbol of his king. But on the third attempt, he cast it into the lake, and the hand of the lady caught it and drew it beneath the waters. Arthur, now near death, was taken to the shores of Avalon, the mystical isle where he would rest until Britain needed him once more. As he lay dying, he spoke the words that would echo through history. Here lies Arthur, the once and future king. The eternal legend, the promise of return. And so, the great king was borne away on a barge shrouded in mist, attended by the sorceress Morgan Le Fay and her sisters, to heal his wounds in the land beyond mortal sight. Yet, it was said by those who witnessed that Arthur did not die but merely slept, waiting for a time when Britain would need him once more, when the realm would call for a hero to bring justice and unity to a divided land. Thus ends the tale of King Arthur, but the legend lives on. From the halls of Camelot to the windswept moors of Avalon, his story is told, a story of courage, of honor, and of a kingdom built on dreams. It is the story of a king who, against all odds, united a land, whose spirit was stronger than steel, whose name would live forever in the hearts of those who believe in the power of goodness, the strength of truth, and the promise of a better tomorrow. For in every age, the legend of King Arthur is reborn, reminding us all that heroes are never truly gone, and that the spirit of Camelot, of chivalry, justice, and hope, will endure as long as there are hearts willing to believe. Thank you for watching. See you next time with a new story.